Hi and welcome. In this video we will learn the difference between passing a variable by value and by reference. Then I will give you a few hints on how to create Tic Tac Toe game, and finally I will show how to code the game. Now take a look at this small program. It contains an integer called num, and it is equal to 100. I output the value of that integer. Then I call a function modify and pass num as an argument to that function. And in the end I output the value of num again. Let's take a look at modify function. It does not return any value, and it takes an integer as an argument. Then it changes the value of the argument and outputs it to the screen. Let's compile and run. Step 1 is 100. Then we pass the variable to the modify function. It changes the argument's value to 70, and step 2 outputs 70. But step 3 outputs 100 again. So what's the problem? I thought we changed the value of the variable to 70. Actually no, we changed the value of a copy of that variable to 70, not the original value. Every function makes a copy of each argument and then performs operations on those copies instead of the original values. If you want to change the value of the original variable, then you need to explicitly specify that by using keyword ref. It stands for reference. What happens in this case, the function creates a copy of the reference of that variable. So when a reference is used to change the value of an argument, the value of the actual variable changes as well. Let's compile and run the program. Step 1 outputs 100, step 2 outputs 70, and step 3 outputs 70 as well. Think of it this way. When passing an argument by value, the function receives a copy of the variable and does not know the location of the actual variable in the memory. But when passing an argument by reference, the function copies the address of that variable in the memory. And when modifying the argument, it modifies the original variable because it knows its location. Now let's create Tic Tac Toe game. I would recommend to pause the video and try to code the game yourself. Try to use what you learned in this video when coding the game. Use a two-dimensional array of characters to represent the Tic Tac Toe game board. So pause the video and try to do it yourself. Alright, let's continue. I have already created the game, so let me open the file and explain what I have done line by line. First of all, we need to create a game board. It is a two-dimensional array of characters, 3 by 3. Then we need to somehow track whose turn is it to play. I use a Boolean variable. As in the previous video about Hangman game, we need a Boolean GameOver variable to track the game state. Main menu function returns false if player decides to play, and true otherwise. Inside our game loop, we display the Tic Tac Toe game board. I created a print function to separate the code and make it easier to read. Then get user input. And now comes the game logic. First of all, we need to check whether the slot on the board is empty. If so, then we change the value of that slot to X or 0. And down here we change whose turn is it to play. If player 1 move was true, it becomes false. If false, it becomes true. However, if position is not empty, we print an error message and ask the player to try again. In the end of the loop, we check if the game is over. We go through rows, columns, and diagonals, and we check if all of them are equal to X or 0. If so, game over. We display the game board for the last time, print who has won, and thank the players. That's it for today. In the next video we will improve our Tic Tac Toe game. We will learn how to convert a variable of one type to another, and how to check whether a character is a number or not. Thanks for watching, have a nice day!